Yep. Hello everyone, I'm Vassy. I was a final year medical student, but now I'm an F1 down here in South London. So I want to add something too. It's about being safe on your elective. I went on my own during my elective. I know some people want to go in friends groups, which is a great time, and a few of my friends went together all the way to the Philippines. A few of my friends went together all the way to Australia. A few of my friends went together to Singapore. Equally, a few of us went on our own. I went alone to Sri Lanka. One of my friends went alone to Nepal. The thing about going elective on your own for me, which I loved, was it forced me to make some new friends. I had a great time integrating with all the students in Sri Lanka, the local students, as well as the students from other people who went on elective too, such as from Australia, from the UK, all the way from universities at Exeter, Cambridge, Liverpool, Manchester. I had a great time. But something that you have to be really important about is being safe. Here are a few tips that I think that you should do to be safe during elective. 1. Always have a sixth sense. Most of the time, you can sometimes tell when something's wrong, and don't put yourself in a situation where you shouldn't be unsafe. What do I mean by that? For example, stick to apps such as, for example, when I was in Sri Lanka, I used apps such as Pick Me and Uber, and most countries tend to have this too, such as Bali has Gojek, or Uber as well. So if you stick to apps such as this, instead of relying on things where you can't really see what's going on and who's there to pick you up in taxis and those kind of things, you're more likely to be safe during your elective. 2. This is more of a tip that I love myself, and I use this to travel all the time. Something that people don't realise is we rely on our phones nowadays, right? If you had your phone, you could probably get back to the hotel you were at. If you had your phone, you could probably get back to the university you're at. But what happens if someone takes your phone? That's why my top tip to you is always have a sheet of paper and keep it in your pocket. Write down one phone number that you think is important, whether it's your parent back home, the hotel that you're staying at, and write down its address. The reason for that is, unfortunately, in some places you have pickpocketing, and if your phone is gone, you need a way to be able to contact people and get help. I'd also keep something with that paper, which is a little bit of money. That's because just with those two things, you'll be able to get to somewhere safe, and then you can deal with all the other things that come next. My third tip. I like to keep all of my important documents on OneDrive, but you can come up with something similar, right? Why do I do that? Same as before, right? Unfortunately, pickpocketing exists, as well as sometimes you can just lose things. I did a lot of backpacking, which means I was unpacking and packing out of hotels and hostels all the time. And it's very easy to just misplace things. In these kind of situations, just having a photocopy of your passport or a photocopy of your insurance can be such a lifesaver. Because when you have to go to those kind of situations, when you have to go to the British Embassy or those kind of things, it's so much easier when you have a copy of your documents than trying to prove that you're someone without any evidence, right? My fourth tip, travel in groups. You want to meet loads of friends during your elective, whether they're local elective students or international students who are bundled together. But when you look after each other's back and have a good time, you're much, much safer. So those kind of things that I recommend is find people that you trust and your friends, and make sure you look after each other, you know? If you're going out on a night during your elective, make sure you're staying safe and you always know where you're going. Make sure that you know where each other are at all times and exchange numbers at all times too, just to keep safe. Another tip that I have is about possibly if you're going to be drinking on your elective. Just remember that some countries might have not as safe as an alcohol policy as others. For example, in some countries, some of the alcohol produced can be produced in villages or farms where they're not quite as developed as filtered as that you would get in a supermarket. And so one of the things that I recommend traveling, especially in Asia, is stick to bottled stuff, such as bottled water and bottled beers and bottled alcohol. This can prevent yourself from being sick as well. Another tip I have for your elective is always remember that you shouldn't be doing anything which is beyond your scope of practice. And this is such an important tip. The reason for that is what you can do is you can get free cover for your insurance during your time at elective through the MDU. All you have to do is go on the MDU website, sign up as a student for free, and sign up to where you're going to your elective for how long, and they will cover you for free, but only as a student, and you must remember that. When you're on elective and you're asked to do things which is beyond your scope of practice, 1, it can endanger you, and 2, it can endanger the patients, which you have to always be worried about, right? So make sure you're always taking a step back, and if someone asks you to do something that you don't think is right, just say no. Remember, you're a customer in these kind of situations and you're paying for your elective, and they want you, you're there out of your own enjoyment. So no one's ever going to make you do anything that you don't want to, but they might offer because that's what's normal there. So just take a step back and always think to yourself and always have that at the back of your mind. Am I doing what's right here? Or could I, put myself and someone else in harm's way? All right, everyone. So that was a little bit about my elective and all my top tips. So just to wrap up, just remember, stay safe during elective, have fun. Remember, there's lots of support and funding out there, but go have a good time, meet some new friends and enjoy it. That's what's important. See you next time.